fried peas in it, it has pinto beans in it, it has the hominy in it. It's traditionally called Texax Caviar. Juneteenth started in Texas, and it also has all my favorite farm fresh products that you can get out right now. Okay, this is Dieter, and he likes to get at my feet. So if you see me doing some funky dancing, I'm moving him out of the way. First, we want to mix our sauce. Now, this is kind of a basic salad dressing. You want to first start with the rice vinegar, or you can start with apple cider vinegar. Half cup of that, and then equal parts, so not an equal part, half cup sugar. Now, if you don't want to do granulated sugar, you can do honey. This would be vegan if you use vegan sugar. So a half cup of that. Now you want to put your vinegar and your sugar together first. And the reason for this, as soon as you put in the oil, it's not going to dissolve the sugar as much. So you want to keep that sugar dissolved a little bit first. Now, I kind of chef these recipes, meaning I don't really follow the recipe. The recipe is a guide. So the ratio of olive oil to vinegar to sugar is pretty important. After that, you can customize it to your flavor preferences. I like lime, so I'm going to actually zest my lime. When you zest a fruit, you can see I'm just getting the green, the outer green. You don't want to get to the white. Citrus juice. We've got our vinegar and we've got our sugar, and hopefully that will start dissolving a little bit faster there. Whew, getting excited. Then we want to add a good amount of garlic. Can't hurt. Now I'm using garlic powder just because the recipe called for garlic powder. You could add fresh garlic again. You can chef it and make it work for you with what you have in the house. All right, the next thing is they have cilantro. What I do in my garden, because it always seems like you have a ton of cilantro right before it goes to seed, you have to harvest it. So I make ice cube trays of cilantro mixed with oil, and that's how I freeze it. So when I use it up in recipes, it's already ready to go for me. So I've taken some of that out already. I've defrosted a little bit. So you can see it's a nice puree of cilantro. I'm going to add some of that in there. I might add some more later. We'll see what my mood is. All right, I didn't put the oil in yet because I wanted the sugar to dissolve a little bit. So now that the sugar has dissolved a little bit, I can go ahead and add my olive oil. If you have vegetable oil, that's fine. Look up any recipe you want to look up for this. There's many varieties. Do the one you like. Or like me, I start with a base and I kind of add what I like. So, we better add our oil. Let me go ahead and mix that up a little bit. And this is going to be more like a mixture because vinegar and oil don't blend that well. So we just try to do our best to whisk it really hard right before we do it. Add our other stuff. So now we're going to start marinating our vegetables in there. So I got one pepper. That was a big pepper. Because I like cooking in rainbows, I got a orange pepper instead of a red pepper. To cut a bell pepper. These are sweet bell peppers. They're not spicy. You want to go ahead and cut down the sides. If you cut down the center, you're going to be cutting through all those seeds in there, and you have a seed party. And seed parties are messy parties. We don't like to do that. So go ahead and cut down the sides, avoiding the center so you don't cut those seeds. And this really speeds up the process of cutting it. And this bottom is still very edible. So we want to go ahead and do that. Look at that. On my board, 0 seeds. Excellent for cleanup. That can go in the compost. All right. I want to show you the difference between a sharp knife. Oh, first, Now, bell peppers, they do have kind of a bitter part. This white part is a little bitter. I don't want to make that a part of my recipe, so I'm going to carefully, away from my fingers, get in there and just take that out. A lot of times if kids get a big bite of that white part, it's not very tasty, so we like to take that out at our house. All right. Now, the difference between a dull knife and a sharp knife. This knife is too dull for me. So let me get some of this stuff out of the way so you can see it a little bit better. Now listen to the knife. When I hold on to my thumb, pointer finger, so it holds on the edge and 3 fingers wrap around. The tip of my knife is on the cutting board, and I want to go ahead, do the bear claw. My hand is up like this, and my wrist is tucked up, so my fingers automatically go under. That's my holding hand. Listen to that. It's working really hard to slice. Not even slicing, so I've got to do some sharpening going on there. So that's upsetting to me. So I'm going to switch over to sharp knife. Put that into the to sharpen pile. So now I have my knife that is sharp, and you can see the difference. Hear it? It's not making that hard cutting sound. It's just slicing perfectly. Now I'm making these are called julienne cuts. These are long and thin cuts. I'm making them really thin because I want to have a party in every bite. So more color in a bite, the more flavor there is in this. So we make very small cuts. Board is trying to slide away. If your board starts slipping around on the counter, you can put a wet towel underneath it, just a damp towel, and that will secure it in place. All right, now I'm going to take this, I'm going to take my rolls, and I'm going to turn it sideways. And you start, if you're not used to cutting this much at once, start with smaller piles, okay? And this is much easier to do with a sharp knife. If I was using that other knife, I would be getting a little angry about now. And sometimes towards the end you have to lift it up because you don't want to get your fingers caught in it. And I'm on my second pile now. See how fast and quick that is? I didn't have to clean up a bunch of seeds. Got right straight to it. I'm going to check for any ones that I missed. I think that is everyone. I'm going to dump that. That's one whole orange pepper. You can use a red pepper. I add tomatoes into my Texax Caviar because I like tomatoes. And I bought purple tomatoes because I thought it was a different color. And I want to have a rainbow party on Friday, so which happens to land on Juneteenth, so why not? So you want to put these together. You want to find a plate or a Tupperware lid that is about half the depth of your cherry tomatoes. You go ahead and put it in there. You want to put your knife between the two, between the two plates. Keep your hand on top, just slight pressure. All the tomatoes are going to go to the one side. Let me see if I can show you this. All the tomatoes went to the one side. Keep your hand and fingers all on the top. Very important because the knife is coming on the back side. Do not put your hand where the knife is going to go. And you gently go back and forth. The other trick is to have something that is smaller than the length of your knife. So you always have the one side sticking out. And then that is how you can do almost a whole pint, voila, of tomatoes pretty fast. So I'm going to add those in. Right, my onion, I started peeling my onion. I peeled all the outer layer off. First what I did is I cut the top off, and then I cut through the root system. I made sure my root had no dirt in it. I cut down. I want to keep this part together because it's holding all these layers. I want to have that work for me. And then after I did that, I did a radius cut. And I will show this to you guys, but see how small of layers I made? I made lots of cuts. Some of them are kind of angled towards the center, and then as I got up to the top, they're straight up and down. So I'll show that cut really quick. So you start on the outside, and you go around, and you try to keep them small. If you want a larger chunk of onion, you can do these wider apart. And then when I'm working with students that are doing this for the first time, as you can see, now my hand is on the downside. Anytime your hand is on the downside, there's potential of you slipping and cutting yourself. So when you start getting too far on the downside, go ahead, switch your hand to the upside of the knife. And this is really tricky cutting like this, I will tell you. When you're cutting it, you're gonna be doing it like this. I was trying to do it so that I could show you on the camera. But you can see now I got the same cuts, all right? This is where it gets fun. So these side pieces, you can see some of them fell off because they're not being held together by the root system. I do my thumb and pinky on the bottom. I do my bear claw on the top. So these two keep all the slices together. I do my bear claw on the top, and now I'm gonna go ahead and start slicing down the sides. And look at that. You have got small dice. So beautiful small dice cuts. All from just making a few cuts. And that's a lot easier than doing it otherwise. If you cut them into slices and then you try cutting it again, let that root system work in your favor. Now if you get an extra tall, like rounded one, again with the students, what I'll tell them to do, let's see if I can get to the back side of this. This one's not very rounded, but you can see where my hand, if we're holding my hand here, it's going to be on the downside. So what I do is to make it so that it's flat, I'll actually angle cut mine in a little bit. So this is when you're doing beginners are learning to cut, you're now taking that slope off of it. So it's less likely that you're going to slide your knife down back towards you, and that's really good for beginner students that are learning the knife skill cuts. All right. Ooh, I'm gonna cry. I don't want to cry, but I'm going to. All right. So in here, I put some hominy. Hominy is corn. You can use fresh corn if you have it around. I like hominy sometimes. It's a different texture, a little bit different flavor. I have pinto beans, and I did drain these. You want to drain them and rinse them a little bit because that extra juice that's in the can is not tasty. It kind of gives off a weird funky texture. And then black-eyed peas. They have little black eyes. I like doing a variety of beans in mine. What else did I add in here? Like the orange pepper, the green bell pepper. Now I've got my onions going in. I've got my tomatoes. Now I'm going to do the jalapenos. This is why I have gloves in the kitchen. We'll be passing behind the scenes, paying no attention to the teenager behind the mom. She needs water. All right, jalapenos. If you cut a jalapeno and you wash your hands, sometimes it still has oil on it, and later on when you go to touch your face, it still hurts. So I like to make sure that I get that all cleaned off. Oh, no, these are extra large gloves, so I gotta be careful. You can, depending on how spicy you like it, you can use as little or as lot, seeds or not. That's your choice. My kid is very sensitive to jalapenos and all things spicy, so I try not to put seeds in it as a compromise. Nobody likes a big chunk of jalapeno, so these I actually take a lot of time to try to cut them smaller. Oh, and if you can get your fingertips to not cut off by holding them in place, that's the only downside to wearing gloves. I might only do half this for the child. I know. Sometimes I love my kid, sometimes I burn her mouth and she just learns to drink milk. Ice water helps from the peanut gallery. And today we're gonna put the whole jalapeno in there. This looks crazy. All right, lots of little thin strips there. Oh, the monster's back. Now I'm going for teeny, 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 tiny, tiny, tiny Let me say that really fast while I'm cutting. Now you know why I never went live, because my conversation is really exciting. Oh, now I'm getting to the end. I gotta slow down. All right, because I want these to be extra tiny. Ooh, that is not tiny. I'm gonna go ahead and give them a quick chop. All right, Geronimo. Are we ready for this? Since I've got gloved hands on, I can do this by hand. So you got all your salad dressing in the bottom. It's really good if you do this a day ahead. You want to get it all in there. Beautiful flavors, colors. Ooh. Maybe I needed that red bell pepper. I'm missing a hit of red. All right, this is Texax Caviar, a great Juneteenth party food. To be out and warm for an extended period of time because there's nothing that's got the oil in it, the vegetables in it, so it can be hot for a little bit longer than some mayonnaise-based things. I do this as a summer meal by itself with some chips, and hope you guys enjoy. Maybe look up some Texax Caviar recipes and pick the one that your family will like to make. Have a fabulous day. Give me some